What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a horror film that I just watched. As most of you know, I went through and watched the whole Blackwell Ghost series recently. And amidst watching other movies, I always like to incorporate indie horror films or lesser known horror movies because it's my favorite genre. And I always hope to find something new and exciting. And so I kept seeing on Prime Video this recommendation for a movie called Unknown Visitor. Little did I know that it was directed by Isaac Rodriguez, who I have now reviewed 3 of his films. I reviewed Mr. Creep, Last Radio Call, and Deadware, and so I've seen most of his filmography. And as soon as I saw his name attached, I was like, oh, I'll give this a shot. It's a 52-minute movie. Most of his movies range from 50 minutes to an hour and 15. They're really short, but they're often low budget. And I have been really impressed with most of his work. Last Radio Call of the 3 I reviewed was my least favorite, but there were still things about it that I really enjoyed. And I saw the premise of this was that someone was installing a Ring video camera, and that the entire film was going to take place through that little camera. And I always love gimmicky things like that, just to kind of see how they'll pay off and the overall scheme of what the film is going for. And so I'll talk about it today in the review. Unknown Visitor is directed by Isaac Rodriguez. After moving into a new house, a young woman experiences a terrifying series of encounters with something evil. The whole nightmare is captured on her door camera. So as I said, gimmicky premise, everything's going to be shot through this Ring video camera, and this was unfortunately horrible. And like I said, I've really enjoyed Isaac Rodriguez's other work, even Last Radio Call that I thought had a lot of problems. I still had things about it that I appreciated and enjoyed. This movie is just really bad. From performances to consistency in the filmmaking, nothing about it works as far as the gimmick is concerned. So as the plot description states, we're introduced to this young woman who's living at this house. She's dating this guy. The two of them don't live together, but she's been having some issues, and so her boyfriend decides to install a Ring video camera on her house. And it's implied throughout the film that she's gone through some things, that she's getting medical help, taking medications, that she possibly was seeing things for a period of time, and that this is a way to help control her anxieties and alleviate her anxieties because she believes someone has been coming to her house late at night. Well, as per horror fashion, at 2 and 3 in the morning, this woman shows up, and she continues to show up. Weird things happen at the house, and the movie plays on from there. And like I said, this is a really simple premise, obviously. You're shooting it through this Ring video camera, and you're watching these things happen. Mundane things happen. This salesman comes up, which I don't know why they didn't just make it more casual. The salesman's line delivery and the way that he's approaching the whole situation feels like something out of a 1990s sitcom in a way that's not funny at all. It's really just kind of poorly executed and feels so out of place tonally with everything else going on in the film. And there's a way to add comedic levity into a horror movie, but it feels so forced, and it was really cringeworthy. The actor didn't really give the best performance either. And so you have moments like that. You have a moment where a UPS delivery driver delivers some packages. They just want to add in some sense of realism to that. But the problem is the filmmaking technique and attention to detail with the production design. There are props and things set out on the porch that consistently move directions, and that it's clear that between takes they didn't really pay enough attention to make sure that those were in the exact same spot. And obviously, if something comes through and moves them, it would make sense, but it's just really quickly after a very short period of time that everything moves. And because we're seeing the doorbell camera go off, if someone was there, we would have seen it kick on and we would have seen the stuff move. It's just no attention to detail when it comes to that. Also, the camera placement doesn't always feel consistent. It feels like it's moved, which I know some of the Ring doorbell cameras, they have the ability that you can shift them and look around, that have the ball cameras inside of them. But this obviously isn't that. It's just a fixed camera. And so the fact that you get a little off kilter sometimes takes you out of it too, which if you're going to make this the entire crux of your film, you've got to pay attention to detail, to those very little things. Otherwise, it's immediately going to take the audience member out of it. And like I said, the performances in this movie, I'm very forgiving with Isaac's films because clearly he's working with friends or people that are close to him. He doesn't have big budget Hollywood actors and actresses actresses working in his films, but the performances in this are the worst of any of the movies I've watched of his. It's the dialogue delivery is so cringeworthy and inauthentic. The relationship between the two characters feels very unreal. It just feels very sloppily handled, unfortunately. And just from start to finish, and even for a 52-minute runtime, I found myself just kind of getting pulled out. Most of this is gimmicky, cheap jump scares compared to some of his other films, especially newer films like Mr. Creep or even Deadware, where I feel like there was great ambiance and tension for that to really build up and effectively scare you as an audience member. This is just like, well, you're getting bored, someone's gonna pop up in front of the camera screen. And that's unfortunate because like Evil Dead Rise this year had that entire sequence where the kid was looking through the little peephole in the door, and that's the only shot you were getting was what was going on through the peephole, and it was executed so well. And that's essentially this drawn out into a full feature-length film. And I think there's a way that you could do this effectively, but it needs a lot more tidying up for it before it's something really good. So have you seen Unknown Visitor? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was terrible. Unfortunately, as someone who really likes Isaac Rodriguez's other films, this one just did not do it for me. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.